Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production, available on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave Schrader. This is Beyond the Darkness, and sitting across from me, menacingly, staring at me over the board like a gorilla in heat, Tim Dennis. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Speaking of gorilla in heat, tomorrow, Tim, footnotes, experiences with Sasquatch. Susan Barron joins us for a charming discussion. What a fun lady. She is great. I think people are going to absolutely love her.
Yeah, it was a great discussion. It was a lot of fun.
We're messing with people's paradigms, but we do record the show sometimes not in order, Tim.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So we just got off...
Pardon me? Huh?
That sounded rude. We just got off the line with Susan Barron and had a fun time and a lot of laughs. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. We hear some interesting encounters with Sasquatch, some funny kind of trysts and twists. So make sure you tune in and check that out tomorrow on the best in paranormal talk radio. But today it's supernatural news, and we've got some Parashare. As a matter of fact, it looks like we have about 2 or 3 phone calls to share with everybody today, and we'd like you to be a part of the program. So I put out the call last week and obviously moved so many of you that 2 actually made the call, Tim.
Yeah, boy, did you ever. Yeah, you moved the audience in such a way. Yeah, that they responded so overwhelmingly that I don't know where to start.
Overwhelmingly. Well, we've got 3 calls, so we'll take them. Yeah. Beyond the voicemail, you can give us a call at our Voices from Beyond voicemail at 651-300-4977. 651-300-4977. We're going to weave those calls in throughout today's supernatural news segment. But give us a call. Share your stories. You can also call just to leave voicemail messages. We probably won't play those on the air, but if you've got messages you want to call in and talk to Tim and ask for advice on your love life or finances, maybe you're looking for the new fashion trends, just call in and leave a message for Tim, and he'll help you out with that.
All the things that you probably shouldn't ask me about, you just named right there. So that's great.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, but what better person than somebody that has no skill at it? That's I think what most people look for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then if you just want to call up and talk about, my voice and how sometimes you like to listen to it while you're cuddled up in bed next to your spouse and imagine that the 3 of us are there together, you can call and leave those messages for me as well.
Wow,
Tim, just saying.
Woo.
I hear it in public a lot. I'd just like to have some of them recorded. 651-300-4977. And aside from just your personal and kind messages, because many of you want to know how to reach out to us just to connect, you can reach us at that number. But for those of you that call in and want to share your stories, call and share your paranormal encounter with us, and we'll feature it in an upcoming episode, just like this caller.
Hey, Dave and Tim, this is Ed from Arizona. One time I was babysitting. I was about 15 years old at this house for a friend of my mom's, and the lady had shared with us that I was babysitting for that her daughter could see a little girl, and that the little girl would tell her that she liked the way her mommy brushed her hair and made her hair look pretty. And, I kind of laughed that off, and she said, it's never messed with us, but, our daughter can see the spirit. And one night I was babysitting for them, and all the kids fell asleep, and I too had fallen asleep, but I woke up to the sound of a blood-curdling scream. And, just absolutely terrifying scream, like somebody was being hurt. And so I shot up, and I'm looking for their daughter, and when I sit up, all of the kids are still sleeping around me, you know, on the couches and on the floor, and we're all watching a movie, and it was the most bizarre thing, and I never told them about it because I didn't want them to freak out. And even in my own head, I was like, well, maybe I could be dreaming, but I wasn't dreaming. That little girl screamed at me. She did not like my presence, and that's the only way I can think of the way that it had happened was she probably didn't like that I was there in the house. And I don't know what I did or what I didn't do when I came in, but she felt the need to let me know that she was there. And another time, we're sitting in my living room with my mom, and my grandmother had passed away the year prior. And we're sitting in the living room, and my grandmother had the tendency to walk down the hallway when she was alive and peek into the living room to check on us after she had gone to bed. She'd come out at about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and she'd come down the hallway and she'd check on us. And one night, my mom and I were sitting in the living room, and I saw something in the hallway out of the corner of my eye. And I didn't look directly at it, but I knew it was there. And when I looked at it, it wasn't there. And I asked my mom, did you see that? And she said, yeah, that was Grandma. She comes down the hallway probably a couple of times a month, and I catch her doing it, and I've tried to talk to her about it, but she doesn't listen. She just keeps coming in and checking, and if she wants to continue to check on us, that's fine. But again, thank you guys. Thank you for everything. I'm a daily listener, and you guys get me through my day, so I really appreciate you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Have a good day.
Hey, if you like our show, you're going to love the Jordan Harbinger Show on Podcast One. Join the host of one of the most downloaded new podcasts of 2018 as he dissects the game plans of the most successful people on the planet in order to help you be the best you can be. Check out the Jordan Harbinger Show every week on Podcast One or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. All right, Tim. Where will we begin this week's journey into the strange and supernatural news?
Well, Dave, we're going to Detroit, Michigan, the city so nice.
Dun, 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 dun,
No, it's a different country, Dave. The city so nice, the French have abandoned it. Just saying, Detroit, Michigan. Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah. Where a Michigan couple says a ghost seen on nanny cam has scratched their daughter. And it's not exactly welcome back.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not named Cotter either. It's a bad 70s joke. It's a video of the unknown that is posing many questions. What is it? Is it real? And what is it doing there? A family in Highland, Michigan believes their house is haunted. And what's even more disturbing is that whatever is haunting the home is doing harm to their little girl. Heather Brow and Joshua Higgins say they couldn't believe what they saw on their nanny cam. It's almost like she's seeing something that we don't, Brow said. It's an image she and Higgins say is haunting their home. Higgins said it was chilling. It was literally a chill down your spine, like the what if factor. Is this what I just saw, is what she went on to say, not what I can read. Caught on the couple's nanny cam video a few weeks ago is what appears to be something moving in front of the baby crib. The couple says it appears to be a ghost. Brow said, I freaked out. I stopped what I was doing and I ran upstairs and grabbed my daughter. She says the so-called ghost scratched her daughter Lily and attacked her too. It scares us that it could do something else, Brow said. I mean, there was a morning I woke up and I felt like someone's hands were around my neck. Ugh. A team of paranormal investigators came in and tried to answer some of the couple's questions and concerns. Higgins' father, Jim, says it may be someone who lived in the house before. The gentleman that lived here originally committed suicide, apparently by jumping out this window, which is one story down, said Joshua's father, Jim Higgins, while recalling a story he was told about the home. The couple says they don't know why this so-called ghost is targeting them, but they say they don't want any part of it. Brow said it's not physically just going after her. It feels like it's going after myself, too. I couldn't get an explanation out of it, so it's freaky. It is what it is, Higgins said. The couple says for now they are staying at the home in a room together with Lily until they have enough money to move.
That's really kind of scary. You know, that's been interesting. I've been watching a lot of the social commentary, and people, you know, are wondering if maybe there's some kind of physical abuse going on in the household, and they're trying to blame it on ghosts.
No, that's not a bad theory. I mean, that's I can. I mean,
the video is compelling. That's a weird catch. There definitely appears to be something ghost-like moving through that room.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I get where some people might want to throw it back on the parents too. I get that, but at the same time, if you've got some video evidence that looks somewhat compelling, I would question that theory at the same time.
Dun 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 dun. Are Meghan Markle and Prince Harry moving into a haunted house, Tim?
Oh, it could be.
Well, as if Meghan Markle doesn't have enough to be nervous about, the Duchess of Sussex is about to give birth to her first child, who also happens to be a royal baby, kind of like you. Yeah. But there's another big change she and Prince Harry are about to embark upon, moving into their new home. It's a starter home, Tim. Of course, this is nothing like when you find a new apartment and promise your buddies pizza to help get your boxes moved and couch carried in. No, Tim. Meghan and Harry are moving into their new official residence, Frogmore Cottage. Sounds quaint, doesn't it?
Frogmore?
Nice little cottage. Yeah, Frogmore Cottage. The home was given to the couple by Harry's gran, also known as Elizabeth II, the Queen of England. You might have heard of her, Tim.
Not really.
You guys dated back in college, didn't you?
A little bit. We had a tryst. I wouldn't call it dating. It was more like screwing around. Yeah.
Pass me the blunt and let's get down with our bad selves, Tim.
I've just offended everyone in England. That's fun.
I think I just added to that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she gave them this house with the presumed intention that they're going to live out the rest of their royal days here in Frogmore Cottage.
Oh, yes.
Frogmore Cottage sounds very small, very quaint. I don't know. Do you really want to build a family in Frogmore Cottage? Well, don't think about it too much, Tim, because it's not much of a sad consolation prize. The term cottage might be a bit misleading. Okay. We're talking about a $4 million 10-bedroom estate that makes the White House look shabby. Yeah. As nice as the home is, though, or maybe as nice as it will be when these long overdue renovations are finally made. You know what happens when you start renovating places, Tim?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
This has all the makings of a haunted house. Frogmore Cottage itself has not specifically been pegged as a poltergeist playground yet, but it's rarely open to the public and has up until very recently been home only to British royal staff. Right? But some of the staff members have said, some stuff's going on. Frogmore House was built around 1680 on the estates of Great and Little Frogmore. The land purchased by King Henry VIII in the 1500s is a low-lying marsh, and the name derives from the many, many frogs which live there and have always lived there, Tim.
Haunted frogs.
Welcome to the club. The grounds are home to an attraction known as the Gothic Ruin. Architect James Wyatt designed the addition, along with many others, meant to modernize the estate at the behest of Queen Charlotte in the 1790s, Tim. The site doesn't just look like it's home to that. It really is. When Prince Albert died in 1861, the widow, Queen Victoria, chose Frogmore for the site of the royal mausoleum. Is that the mother-in-law suite, do you think?
It might be, but did Prince Albert die in the can?
Wow. I heard he was sitting on the can when he died, though.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah. So do you think when Meghan Markle's family comes to visit, Harry's all like, hell, yeah, they may stay out in the mausoleum. I've laid out a couple of very cushy down slumber bags, and they can sleep out there, Meghan.
I believe that it's a dead-on impression if I've ever heard one, yeah.
The site sits just as adjacent to Frogmore Cottage and has remained a tourist attraction for a century and a half. Both Victoria and Albert, together forever, are buried inside that royal mausoleum, Tim. Oh, but that's not all.
Creepy.
The royal cemetery is directly across from the cottage.
Yeah.
It's practically their front yard.
Ew.
All right, well, it's more like a 10-minute walk, but it's still part of the grounds. It's a big estate, Tim. Big estate.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag, but just the people that work on staff are enough to kick Rhode Island's ass in a war, as Arthur would say, Tim. Yeah. In the community of those who believe in the paranormal, royals in particular are known to haunt their old homes, Tim. People have reported sightings of Henry VIII. I am pacing the halls of Windsor Castle. His beheaded wife, Anne Boleyn, is said to haunt the Dean's Cloister, and the ghost of their daughter Elizabeth I supposedly keeps to the royal library. Buried on these grounds are such royals as Edward IV, Princess Helena, George V, George VI, and interesting enough, King Edward VIII, Tim. Edward VIII became better known as the Duke of Windsor than as king after giving up the throne after less than a year. Why? Because he wanted to marry an American commoner, Tim.
Yeah,
that's what took you off the throne, right? You were going to marry an American commoner?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Kind of a spooky coincidence. Or is it? Old Harry married a dirty American commoner as well, Tim.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the Union abdicated was the royal scandal of 1937, especially because Wallis Simpson was in no way beloved like Meghan Markle is today. She famously met with Hitler before World War II and was suspected by many of being a Nazi sympathizer. No, not Meghan Markle, Tim.
Oh, okay.
No. Wallis Simpson, I guess.
Oh.
And yes, Wallis Simpson is also buried on the ground at the old Frogmore estate. It's quite possible that Megan is in no way superstitious. Maybe she ain't afraid of no ghosts, Tim.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of weird. All right, where are we off to next?
We're going to St. Louis, Dave. St. Louis.
Dun, 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 dun.
I believe they play that at every Cardinals game, if I remember right.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, that's the theme of the St. Louis Cardinals. We go to Lemp Mansion, where the lady in white ghost is going viral after a haunted tour. That's right, she came on out, and now she's a star on YouTube. The St. Louis Paranormal Research Society, yes, I'm only saying that to get emails, gave a haunted Lemp neighborhood walking tour Wednesday night. They investigated the bottle works for evidence of apparitions and posted their findings to social media. The group walked through one of America's most haunted neighborhoods. Their paranormal investigators shared the lesser-known haunted aspects of St. Louis's Lemp neighborhood. They learned about the haunted history of the Lemp family. Participants also visited the site of Marion Hospital and discovered its connection to the Lemp Mansion's most famous ghost. A Facebook post describing one of the most haunted places in the Lemp Mansion is going viral. The St. Louis Paranormal Research Society posted this message with a picture to their Facebook page on Wednesday. This apparition was captured at the top of the Lemp Mansion's main staircase at the time of the picture. At the time that the picture was taken, the photographer said nobody was standing at the top of the stairs. Over the years, guests of the Lemp Mansion have claimed to have seen a lady in white on the main stairs. The group is giving more haunted tours of area neighborhoods. You can learn more at seeaghost.com. There are many people leaving comments on the post about their own haunted experience in the mansion. They do have a Facebook post as well. Just look up St. Louis Paranormal Research Society, and you can see that post for yourself on Facebook. But it is pretty interesting, the picture that's posted at that Facebook post, that's for sure.
There's been an eerie experience for a Liscombe couple, Tim. Not Lipscomb, a Liscombe couple.
Okay.
An unexplained sighting, an event during a foggy drive, Tim. Maybe we could do our own little theater of the mind right here.
Sure, we could try.
Let's see. Okay, you get ready with your mouth harp, and we'll see if you can't create some sound effects for me.
Mouth harp. All right.
Perhaps it was famous author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes fame, who once opined, "Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth." It's a sentiment that Liscombe resident Brianna McRae and her boyfriend Mike were feeling after a foggy Friday night on March 22nd. One that they had made numerous times in the past. It left them with chills and looking for explanations beyond the probable. In that search, McRae took to Facebook with a post that's received, as of March 27th, 229 likes and wows, Tim. Likes and wows.
Click, 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 click.
As well as 124 comments and 218 shares. A follow-up post a few days later is also getting a lot of hits. This is what the original post says. I know many of you will choose not to believe what I'm about to tell you. And I understand many are not as open-minded on this particular subject. However, this is the truth, with no exaggeration. McRae's first post starts before going into detail about their location on Old Pinevale Road, driving on the dirt road past the fish hatchery, the road that cuts into Lochaber by the Glen Hillberry Farm.
Here's my driving.
1950 Studebaker? What was that?
Yeah, it was 50 Studebaker. Yeah.
Are you ready for this Parashare story?
Sure.
All right. On our way home to Liscombe from Antigonish tonight, we came through St. Andrews and took our regular route, driving on the dirt road past the fish hatchery. The road cuts into Loch Abba by the Glen Hillberry Farm. As soon as we started driving down the road, I told my boyfriend, Mike, I know this might sound weird, but I have a really bad feeling about driving down here. He looked at me and said he had chills because he had a bad, eerie feeling as well, almost as if we weren't wanted and we were being rushed to get out of there. The heavy feeling, it never left us. It was the type of vibe that makes you sick to your stomach. A few minutes later, on the right-hand side in the woods, we both saw the super bright, glowing figure.
Oh, I suppose that, I didn't know glowing had a sound, but...
I'm just trying to give it a, that theater of the mind feel. Sure. I thought to myself, that isn't a sign because it's too far in the woods, and it's not a light because it had such an odd shape. It was more in the shape of a person. It was glowing in extremely bright white color. There were no houses around, so it wouldn't have been anything reflective from somebody's yard. This was all around 9 p.m. tonight. Immediately after, we saw this thing, which I'm going to assume was a ghost, a battery for the Sea-Doo in the backseat of the truck, began to spark like crazy. Sparks kept flying in under my seat and wouldn't stop. I thought it was on fire. Mike parked the truck at this point.
I'm getting spit all over my board.
Mike parked the truck at this point. Mike parked the truck at this point. Thank you. He grabbed the battery and moved it away from us, and it stopped. It's my understanding that the paranormal feed off electricity to gain energy or something like that, so I began hyperventilating. Mike was also very upset. The second we reached the end of that road on the pavement by the Berry Farm, we both felt immediate relief. Obviously, we were both still upset. But we felt safe again when we left the road. I'll never take that route ever again, even though I've driven it 1,000 times. Sorry for such a long post. I just had to share this story we both experienced. If anyone knows anyone from there who's seen anything strange or even know if someone might have passed away on that road, please let me know so I can make sense of what we've seen. That was the plea that went out, Tim.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was his story.
Huh.
So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally.
Ray said that her post has received both supportive and dismissive reactions. Yeah, that happens. People can be dicks.
Yeah, they can be. Huge.
A lot of people are supporting, but then you have the odd comments like, ghosts aren't real. Stuff like that, she said, noting she anticipated the mixture, which is evidence by her opening line. She added one person she went to college with talked about seeing ghosts since she was a young girl and went into specific detail about their purpose and why she and Mike felt relief after leaving the area. The spirit didn't attach itself to you because as soon as you were off that road, you felt relief, McRae said, quoting the reply. As for whether she was a big believer in the paranormal or supernatural before this experience, McRae talked about believing in an afterlife, but not necessarily ghosts or anything like that. Now, for sure, she added adamantly, and even if the glowing figure was subsequently a battery reaction could be explained away, some have offered meteorological explanations. McRae said the weirdest part, with no reasonable explanation, is the uneasy feeling which overcame her and Mike simultaneously as soon as they started down that road. Well, it wouldn't make sense because if it wasn't really a ghost and it was setting off the battery, there may have been some kind of release of a high electromagnetic field, which can cause feelings of paranoia, delusions, anxiety. So that, there could be some natural phenomena.
Sure.
Phenomena. So that could be it, but I'm not sure. What do I know? I'm just a radio show host, Tim.
True. Very true. Mm-hmm.
All right. Radio show host and a prolific procreator, I think is the word I'm looking for.
All right.
11 children between my wife and I, Tim.
Well, you're taking credit now for her kids?
Well, between the two of us, I'm just saying.
Okay.
We're very prolific together.
I see.
Surprised at this point, in the year and a half we've been married that we haven't pumped out 8 more kids.
Jesus.
Is that how it works? 8 in a year?
I hope not.
Anyway, let's get to it. What is our next story, Tim?
We're headed to the grocery store, Dave, where even ghosts show up there because evidently everybody loves goober grape. I have no idea what that means.
Goober grape. Welcome to the 70s. Nice reference.
Well, it's still on the shelves, Dave.
Is it really?
Yes.
Get out of town,
and
Jackson
now there's goober strawberry.
Good God. For those of you that don't understand what it is a jar filled with peanut butter, and then injected into the peanut butter are stripes of jelly, so that it's like PB&J all in one swipe. It's genius. I didn't know it was still out there.
Yes.
What shops are you shopping at? Jitney Jungle?
Oh, you just go to your local Wally Mart there. It's right
really?
there. Yeah.
Goober grape.
And strawberry.
Wow. I'll have to try that again.
Goober strawberry.
Does it live up to expectations, or is it do you find yourself like your tongue has been violated now as an adult when you try it?
It's everything you could ask for and more.
Yeah. See, Hostess, the return of Hostess, the reboot of Hostess.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same.
No, everything tastes very plasticky to me.
Yeah.
They replaced the love and goodness that once was a Twinkie and cupcakes, and now it tastes like you know what it tastes like, Tim? Like AI has created it themselves.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Using old butter containers and spit.
Yep. That's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's not made with loving hands anymore. It's made with robot hands.
Yeah. Robot hands. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get back to it.
The headline says, as far as we know, all our stores are ghost-free. This supermarket has responded to a frozen aisle haunting post, and they don't want to be caught up in any shenanigans. That's what they say. And what sounds like a tie-in for the upcoming new installment of the Ghostbusters franchise, an employee at the Massachusetts Market Basket grocery store claimed to have spotted a Victorian-era specter haunting the frozen food aisle. Oh, it's never happened to you, you say. Well, give it time. The employee, Christiana Bush, which sounds like a woman of ill repute, but I'm sure she's a fine woman, who works in the store's bakery department, posted about the ghost sighting in a local private Facebook group. This is going to sound really strange, but has anyone seen a ghost in the Wilmington Market Basket? She wrote, according to the Boston Globe, adding that after she saw the woman, she looked to see if anyone else was catching a glimpse of the apparition, and when she looked back, she was gone. She looked kind of like melancholy and a little angry, like we all are in the frozen food aisle. I put that part in there. So it was kind of a creepy kind of sense, but it was something, Bush said Monday, according to the local NBC affiliate. She believes the woman was a ghost and asked the Facebook group whether anyone else had a paranormal experience in her store. The modern-day ghost story has since gone viral, with people across the country weighing in on the likelihood of a Victorian-era ghost choosing to haunt a market basket. If the rumors are true, It makes this market basket a lot more interesting, said one shopper, according to CBS Local. News of the haunting even caught the attention of the Massachusetts U.S. Representative Seth Moulton, who tweeted out the story. Apparently a ghost is haunting the Wilmington market basket. A tweet from Moulton's Twitter account said on Sunday, I thought I only needed to worry about witches and ghouls in Salem. Oh, boy, he's got a good sense of humor there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's clever.
He's clever. The Wilmington Police Department is getting in on the action, too. They posted a video on Facebook with quote-unquote proof of the haunting. I won't even give you the link because we know how clever the police department in Wilmington is. While they undoubtedly appreciated the free advertising, Market Basket officials say that to their knowledge, their stores are free from ghostly visitors. As far as we know, all of the stores are ghost-free, a spokesperson for the company told the Globe. But if there's anything to it, she's probably attracted to our Victorian area prices. You may hit your rim shots now.
Hi-oh!
Yep.
Tim, for this next story, I'm going to bring this up so that, so many of you are sitting there listening to these stories. Right now, I want to engage your mind and your body. I want to feel your bodies move during this next story, Tim. So I'm going to, do you mind if I cue in a little bit of background music?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Huh? You like that? Subtle?
Sure.
The reason I play this, Tim, is because Olivia Newton-John claims she's haunted by two dead celebrities who boost her career.
Okay.
That's right, Tim. You heard me. The Grease star says that two of her late famous pals hover around her while she's performing and act as her spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Olivia Newton-John has claimed that she's haunted by two dead celebrities who do their bit to help her career. We've got to tell her John Travolta's not dead, just his career, though, Tim.
Well, and his hairpiece.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
The Grease star says her late famous pals hover around her while she's performing and act as her spirit guides to ensure she always goes down as a treat with audiences.
Pardon me? What?
Yeah, she always goes down as a treat with her audiences. The musical legend says both Karen Carpenter, the Carpenter singer who died in 1983, and John Denver, the singer-songwriter who died in 1997, are often on stage with her every single night.
John Denver, another guy who went down. Thank you very much, ladies and
gentlemen.
Huh?
Olivia, age 70, talks about her ghostly companions, which also include a friend's daughter who died as a child in her new book, Don't Stop Believin', reports the Daily Star. How about that? She writes, she's been with me ever since, along with my parents, my sister, and other close friends who have passed away, like Karen Carpenter and John Denver. I often feel as if they hover around me when I perform. They're my spirit guides, who I ask to support me before every show and keep me going strong. They're gone, but their love, it never dies, Tim. The Star also writes about the tough times she had when Karen died of heart failure caused by eating disorder anorexia. She says she was in Los Angeles listening to the radio in the car when she heard the sad news. It was as if the sky fell to earth, she said. My stomach hit the ground. She was supposed to be seeing her friend that following day. Olivia, who is fighting cancer for a third time, also writes about performing for Princess Diana alongside Sir Cliff Richard in 1988. She says the princess was beautiful and charming, and she could feel the kindness in her eyes. Poor Olivia, fighting cancer for the third time.
Yeah, she's going through a rough time. Can I tell one truly tasteless joke and get it out of the way, and then y'all can email me afterwards?
Oh, my God. Are you serious? All right, go ahead. What have you got?
Between Karen Carpenter and John Denver, there's no inflate meal on the plane. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's it. That's all I got.
Let's take a second to shake that off. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of the best in Paranormal Talk Radio, although that last statement might make you question that account. This is Beyond the Darkness.
Hey, this is Jordan Harbinger. Did you know you can be entertained and actually get a boost in your life at the same time? On this show, we dig into the superpowers of the world's most interesting thinkers and top talents. Then we deliver them to you right into your ears. But I get it. We're not all superheroes. That's why we give you their blueprint so you can live what you listen. After 1,000 interviews, learning 5 languages, and getting arrested in a country that doesn't even exist anymore, I'm now more ready than ever to introduce you to The Jordan Harbinger Show. Listen free to The Jordan Harbinger Show, available on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app.
Beyond the darkness.
Welcome back to the program. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave Schrader. That's Tim Dennis. This is Beyond the Darkness. And we want to hear your stories. We'd love for you to give us a call on our Voices from Beyond voicemail at 651-300-4977. Call in and share your story with us. We want to hear your paranormal encounter. Is it scary, funny, weird, unusual, Bigfoot, Ouija boards, ghosts, psychic phenomena, monsters, myths, legends? What have you had an experience with? Call in right now. Pause this GD podcast and make that phone call. It's free, it's fun, and we're waiting to hear from you. 651-300-4977. You can be a part of the show just like this caller.
Hey, Tim and Dave. This is Jake from Texas. I grew up in East Texas, right around Tyler and Athens, Texas. I don't know if y'all know where that's at, but anyways, in Athens, there's a legend of the Monkey Bridge. Legend is apparently some circus or something went through there and they had an accident on the bridge, but the legend goes that if you go on this bridge and you, in the middle of the night, you stop your car and turn off the lights, you sit there with the car off for a few minutes, get out, walk around, whatever, crank the car back up and leave, that your car will break down. You'll get stranded. So you'll either get stranded there on the bridge or you'll get stranded later in the night. So me and some friends, we went out one night, and we were in my mother's car. She had a Mercury Mountaineer, and we go out there on this bridge and do our thing, probably drink a little bit, whatever, smoke some cigarettes while we had the car turned off. Crank the car back up, nothing happened. This is a bunch of BS. So anyways, we go to proceed about our night. Now, I don't know if it's just coincidence or if it was a legend, but there for a while I was leaning more towards coincidence. Bunch of jackass kids hot rodding around in Mom's car. But lo and behold, before that night ended, that car broke down. We ended up blowing the transmission in my Mom's brand new car. She hadn't even had it, it wasn't paid off. First we lost all our main gears. Then we got it to where it would go and would shift and drive in second gear. So we tried to drive all the way from Athens and take these girls back home in Tyler, the other side of Tyler, which was probably a good hour. Anyways, before we got to Tyler, we were down to where we only had first gear. And so we get up to the intersection of the red light, and we ended up losing first gear. So we had to coast through traffic. We were already in the middle of making our turn. The light turned red. We had to coast through traffic, dodged a semi-truck, and ended up being able to get this thing to a stop in the Burger King parking lot. We sat there, all dumbfounded, turned the car off, turned it back on. The only gear that worked was reverse. So, as the legend goes, we stopped on Monkey Bridge and goofed off that night when we ended up stranded on the side of the road. Take that for what you will. Anyways, I reckon I'll tell you about my UFO sighting. Over in East Texas, we had a deer camp. Me and a buddy of mine was out there. Just kind of looking at the stars. It was in November, I guess. Nice and crisp and cool weather. Real clear. You could see all the stars and the constellations, up above the trees. Above the tree line, but anyways, so we're sitting there and this one star looks a little bit different, And you know how sometimes you look up in the sky and you look at a star, but if you look directly at it, it disappears? Well, I thought that's what was happening with this thing. And then I realized it wasn't so much that it was disappearing as it was blinking, you know. It was kind of blinking, looked like off and on. Well, so then I told my buddy about it. He started looking at the same one. We picked it out, you know, and pointed it out to him. Well, then the thing's sitting there blinking off, on. And all of a sudden, it blinks on, gets real bright, and then just splits off into two spots. So there's the original light that's there, and then when this thing splits, I guess it wasn't two, it was three, because it splits in two different directions, and then that original light stayed there. Well, then they start blinking simultaneously, like they're blinking each other. The main one, the very first one, it blinks, and then the one off to the left blinks, and the one off to the right blinks, and then the one off to the left blinks, and then it blinks back to the front, right? Okay. That's weird enough, strange enough, you know. Then they all start like a rotate, you know. You ever seen a helicopter with the searchlight on, and you can kind of see the beam of light going through the sky? Well, that's what this was doing. So the main light, it stays white, okay? And then you see that beam of light shoot out, like across the sky, just like a beam, you know, like a spotlight. But it's rotating, you know, around. Kind of like they do at the airport, you know, at the airfield. So, well, it's green, okay? And it's got a beam coming out, just like a spotlight. And then it starts rotating. Like they're looking. The one to the left had turned green, the main one had stayed white. Well, the one off to the right, I guess would be off back to the east, had turned like a blue color, okay? So anyway, they all three got the beam of light, and they're circling around counterclockwise. Like they're searching for something, but they're not searching on the ground. They're not looking at the ground. And anyhow, so they did this for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe. We're sitting there watching this. And I got to be honest, I didn't get out my stopwatch, you know, but it felt like it was for a while. Anyway, so they're doing that. And then they get real bright, okay? When they get real bright, the beams shut off, but the balls of light start glowing real bright. Then the main one shoots straight up above our heads. And the other two come back to that main light. And then when they did that, they all three come together as one, okay? And then it turns like a reddish pink, you know. It's not really a red, but kind of like a light pink color. Anyways, it shoots down, and I tell you, it's got to be 6 to 10 feet off the ground, about 300 yards away, okay? They shoot down right in front of us, and then you see that damn light, the light beam come out like a spotlight again, like it's searching. Beep. It's just going all the way around. Now, we sat there and we watched that thing, and I don't know if it was just dumb courage or what, but we decided, hey, there's spotlight, and we're going to spotlight too, so we went inside and got a Q-beam spotlight and shine at it, see if we could see anything through the trees. But when we hit that thing, I tell you, with the light off of it, you could see it clear as day. When you hit the spotlight on it, that thing disappeared. You couldn't see anything. But it's kind of a blur. And then that damn light, it shot straight up into the damn air and then zipped off across the sky out to the west. Now, what that was, I don't know. Maybe you can get into contact with Earl from Eastern Kentucky, because I know he had some UFO stories for you, and he might be able to help us out with that. Maybe he's seen something like that. Or maybe one of your other listeners has seen something like that. I don't know that it's aliens. I'm not saying I believe in aliens. I'm not saying a damn thing. I'm just telling you what I've seen. Okay, that's just an old deer hunter from East Texas. And just by the way, when I was telling you this, and then the time ran out, I tried to call you back about 3 or 4 times, and my phone kept hanging up like they didn't want me to call you back. So, there you go. Like I said, leave it to the listeners to decide what it was, but that's my story. Jake from Texas, thank you.
Every car comes with its share of stories. That ding in your bumper when you nervously picked up a first date, that luxury package you got after a big promotion, or the mileage you saved by riding your bike all summer. While you can't put a price tag on your stories, now with TrueCar, you can at least find out what your car's worth when it's time to sell it or trade it in. Just go to TrueCar. Simply enter your license plate number and watch how your car's details pop up. Then answer a few questions. Does it have navigation and moonroof? Watch as they bump up your value. Is there high mileage? Well, you already knew that was going to cost you, but now you know how much it dings your wallet so you can plan ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a true cash offer sent in just minutes, which you can take to a local certified dealer to cash out or trade in. So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar today. True cash offer may not be available in all areas. All right, Tim, what's our next story in supernatural news?
Well, our next story has to do with Uri Geller, Dave, believe it or not. He's revealing how he'll stop Brexit with telepathy, but isn't a miracle worker, which I find unusual because there's a story out today saying that not even Theresa May could stop Brexit for a third straight time. So I don't think he was successful. The illusionist admitted he isn't a miracle worker, but is doing his best to make Theresa May hold a second referendum. Uri Geller has revealed exactly how he will use his telepathic powers to stop Brexit. Last week in an open letter to the Prime Minister, the illusionist said he felt psychically and very strongly that most Britons were anti-Brexit and vowed to stop the process. Speaking on today's Good Morning Britain, Uri started by addressing the skeptics with the CIA's confirmation that he was demonstrated paranormal perceptual abilities in a convincing and unambiguous manner. Uri claimed that he would bombard Theresa May's mind to get her to hold a second referendum, but confessed time was running out. However, he admitted he isn't a miracle worker, a guru, or a prophet, so needed the help of the nation. Speaking live from Tel Aviv, Uri said, "I totally believe we can transmit energy and receive energy. I've known Theresa May for over 21 years. I lived in the same village. She visited my home. I took her to my garage." I don't know what that had to do with anything. I pointed to the spoon that belonged to...
You wanted to bend her like a spoon. I don't know.
I think so, you know what I mean? He said, "I pointed to the spoon that belonged to Winston Churchill. This was 3 years before she became Prime Minister. I bombarded her mind. I said, 'You are going to be the Prime Minister.' She laughed, and she said she didn't believe. She is Prime Minister." Uri, who used to live in Sonning, which lies in Mrs. May's Maidenhead constituency, spoke about his cult status after spotting banners with his name on during Saturday's march for another Brexit vote in London. He confessed, "I'm not a prophet, and I'm not a guru or miracle worker. I believe with the power of my mind, no matter how bizarre this sounds or far out in science fiction, if we concentrate together at 11 a.m. and p.m., just think the following. Theresa brings us to a second vote. Go for a second referendum." Uri claims he passionately cares for residents of the UK, particularly young people, and insisted Brexit will be a catastrophe. When asked if no second referendum would mean he lost his powers, Uri replied, "I'm not a miracle worker. Besides, maybe I'm doing this too late. I'm just a human being. I'm doing my best to make this work." At the end of the interview, he added, "I have the power. I believe in you people in the UK. Be with me. We don't have much time." Good morning. What's it?
Dun, 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 dun. It's a little, "I have the power." Isn't that song?
Yeah, it's something like that. I think you've got the gist of it. I don't think you've got the complete words to it. But Good Morning Britain viewers took to Twitter after the bizarre interview. One viewer said, "Uri Geller on GMB claiming that he can stop Brexit via telepathy is the best start to the morning I could have asked for. I choked on my cornflakes." Given the level of weirdness that keeps occurring, Uri Geller's spoon bending seems a legit solution to chuck in the mix, added another. A third said watching Uri Geller telling viewers how to do telepathy to stop Brexit. I thought I was still dreaming, but then I remembered it's 2019 and royals really do write messages on bananas and vegan sausage rolls exist. Meh, this works. Yuri shocked the nation when he posted his open letter at the end of last week. He wrote, I feel psychically and very strongly that most British people do not want Brexit. I love you very much, but I will not allow you to lead Britain into Brexit. As much as I admire you, I will stop you telepathically from doing this, and believe me, I am capable of executing it. Before I take this, before I take this drastic course of action, I appeal to you to stop the process immediately while you still have a good chance. Now,
that sounds like a threat.
I know.
Geller's planning on scannering her.
Yeah, I know. He's like, but now the vote that took place today, Theresa May did lose a crucial vote on the Brexit deal. And for a third time, she lost again in her bid to get her withdrawal deal approved by UK lawmakers. She had offered her future resignation in apparent exchange for support of the deal. Parliament, as lawmakers again refused to back her deal to leave the European Union. May's draft proposal to leave the bloc, which has been signed off by EU officials in Brussels, had already been rejected twice by UK members of Parliament. This time her deal was beaten by 344 votes to 286, a margin of 58 votes. Today's vote, as we're recording this...
I don't know that we need all of that nonsense.
Well, no,
I mean, the most of it was the fact that Uri Geller's threatening to blow people's minds up if they don't yield to his power.
Well, that, but it's just... I'm throwing that in there because it's just saying that Yuri failed in his attempt. So it's,
damn it, Yuri. He just didn't push hard enough.
Yeah, so that vote actually took place today, and it failed. So,
and by today, we mean Friday, when we were recording this episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, interesting.
Yeah.
Or maybe not so much. I'm not sure. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
A time traveler from 2045 has passed a lie detector test. Huh?
A lie
detector
test.
He knows who's going to be president, Tim.
He does.
Well, according to the article that I have here, that's what it says. A man claiming to be a time traveler allegedly passed a lie detector test and made a surprising revelation about who will be the U.S. president in the future. A man who claims that he is a time traveler has revealed who will be president in 2045. The time traveler also claims the future commander-in-chief is widely accepted as the greatest president the country has ever seen. The man says he was born in December of 2019 and that he knows many things about the future. He agreed to take part in a filmed lie detector test with Apex TV in a bid to show people he's telling the truth. In the footage, the man, whose face is pixelated, says he is indeed from the year 2045, and the word true appears on the screen. Yeah, he goes on to say that he has a chip in his hand called the One, and that aliens land on Earth in 2045, all of which seem to pass the lie detector screening. He is asked if dinosaurs have been cloned, and he replies, yes. They are, in fact, dinosaur zoos with a T-Rex and velociraptors. Is this guy just maybe thinking about the movie Jurassic Park?
It could be.
He added, if they existed, you can see them. He is then asked about who is the president, and he announces that Martin Luther King Jr.'s granddaughter, Yolanda Renee King, is now in power. He said, yes, Yolanda Renee King does become president, and she is, in fact, noted as the greatest president of the United States. The lie detector machine again responds with a positive response, saying his statement is true. Last year, aged 9, Yolanda addressed a crowd of tens of thousands of protesters in Washington, D.C., demanding gun control, with echoes of her grandfather's famous I Had a Dream speech. She said, my grandfather had a dream that his 4 little children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that enough is enough, and that this should be a gun-free world, period. In 2045, Yolanda will be 36 years old. Interesting. So we'll have to wait till 2045. So let's lock this episode, Tim, into the Darkness Radio Time Capsule.
I wonder, though, and I don't know, you'd have to ask someone who runs a polygraph machine, but I wonder if you don't believe something strong enough, if that's your truth.
Oh, it is. They've already said that. That's why it's fallible. That's why they don't use lie detector tests in court.
If that's your truth, if you would pass a polygraph test.
And if he's thinking, he's reframing the question in his mind, are there dinosaurs in the future? And then he thinks, yes, in the movie Jurassic Park, there are dinosaurs in the future. And that's how he's answering. Might be the true answer, Tim. I don't know. I wish I knew. You know what I wish? I wish I knew, Tim, but I don't know. So stop pushing me already. Can we move on to the next story?
Jeez, I guess so.
All right, where are we off to?
Very pushy today. A homicide trial having to do with a woman claiming that an online alien cult led to a deadly shooting. We go to Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, where a murder trial is underway in Monroe County for a woman accused of shooting her boyfriend. Barbara Rogers entered the Monroe County Courthouse Monday morning for her trial in the death of Stephen Mineo. The police say that Rogers shot Mineo in the head at her home near Tobyhanna in July of 2017. According to investigators, Rogers and Mineo belonged to Sherry Shriner, an online cult centered on aliens and the end of the world. Rogers claims the cult turned against her and Mineo, and because of those problems, Mineo wanted her to kill him. During opening statements, the prosecution went over on what happened the night of the shooting. Rogers and Mineo were out at a nearby bar in Coolbaugh Township until 2 a.m. Rogers says the couple had a few drinks but were not drunk. Once they got home, the victim suggested they go into the woods behind their house and shoot his gun. Probably not a good idea. When they went back inside the house, things turned deadly. Rogers claims they were in their bedroom when Mineo put the gun to his own head, wrapped her hands around the weapon, and told her to pull the trigger. According to investigators, Rogers called 911 to report the shooting. She told dispatchers, "My boyfriend had a gun. He told me to hold it here and press the trigger. Oh my God, he's dead." Rogers claims she didn't know the gun was loaded and calls the shooting an accident. The prosecution says the shooting was not an accident and that Rogers could have prevented it. The assistant district attorney called several witnesses to the stand, including a firearms expert. More expert testimony is expected throughout the week. Before the jury was brought in, the judge asked Rogers if she wanted to accept a guilty plea of third-degree murder that carries a sentence of 10 to 15 years in prison. Rogers said no to that. Testimony is scheduled to pick back up on Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Well, since we're already talking about murder and mayhem, Tim, a month after being blamed for the mysterious death of a farm worker in a Honduran village, the infamous Chupacabra is suspected of killing yet another person in a nearby community. The bizarre initial incident occurred in mid-February when a man was bitten on the foot by an unseen predator, and his body was seemingly drained of all of its blood. Since the unfortunate farmer's demise came amid a slew of similar unexplained animal attacks, many residents in the area pointed the finger at the notorious blood-sucking Chupacabra. Their concerns have now been amplified after a second individual died under strange circumstances. According to a local media report, a young man named Giovanni left a party in the town of
Exactly.
At around midnight one evening a few weeks ago and subsequently vanished on his way home. After 3 days of searching, the body was found in a hard-to-reach hollow in the remote mountainous location near the village. Those who discovered his remains were mystified by the location since they could not figure out how he wound up there. They were also horrified when they noticed that, like the farmer who had recently died, Giovanni had been drained of his blood as well. As one can imagine, residents of the region are on edge following this second puzzling death, and remarks made by the veterinarian brought in to consult on the livestock cases are likely to only exacerbate their fears. The expert observed that whatever killed these animals left no evidence behind. managed to enter well-protected areas and seemed to strike its victims with remarkable precision. The massive amount of blood seemingly consumed by the predator left the veterinarian baffled as to what kind of creature could be behind the attacks. And, remarkably, he ultimately mused that we think that it's a supernatural being. Dun, dun, dun! That's all I got on that story, Tim. Where are we off to next?
Off to the store to get me some Depends. What the hell is this you gave me?
What?
Dude, does nobody watch movies? Does nobody...
Wait a second.
For the love of God.
Is that what I hear coming?
I win this bet. I don't know why you just don't concede and get me my box of Twinkies right now.
Well, we already described, Tim. I love you too much, and Twinkies now taste like desperation, puke, and plastic wrap.
That's true, they do, but they're still somewhat delicious.
But you're not winning. You're not winning the bet, Tim.
Dave,
zombie apocalypse will happen before the rise of the AI.
No, I'm telling you, there's even a link inside this story to another story that would make me crap a whole pack of Depends right now.
All right, what's the story? Let me see. I need to judge this tale to see, Tim, if in fact you might be on to something or definitely on something.
The headline alone, Dave, should win me the bet. Shocking Terminator-like liquid metal developed by scientists.
Oh, wait, what?
Shocking Terminator-like liquid metal developed by scientists.
Okay, well, that's Terminator-like, Tim. It doesn't mean it is a Terminator.
Well, what else are they going to do with it?
Mercury is kind of a liquid-like metal.
But it doesn't form a solid, which eventually is going to form around a robot, which is going to crush your skull.
All right, let's see where the story goes.
Can I just point out something before I go into the story? Inside the story is another link for another story that says, is Skynet a reality? As Trump signs executive order on artificial intelligence, tech giants warn of danger. Can I just say, can I spike the ball right now and declare touchdown, I win?
Yeah, you see how that works for the Minnesota Vikings, but you go ahead and try, Tim. All right.
I'm in New England Patriots territory right now. I'm a dynasty right now. I just keep winning and winning.
Oh, I thought you meant you paid for sex.
No. Well, I will say that Robert Kraft and I have run into each other at certain massage parlors. Well, you know.
The Happy Joy Club?
Well, you know, a little rub and tug here and there. You run into some old guys, I'm just saying.
Sounds like a country band, doesn't it? Hey, everybody, welcome to the stage, Rub and Tug.
It's the Rub and Tug Jug Band?
Yeah, it's the Rub and Tug Jug Band.
Just saying.
I like it. All right, go on. What's your stupid story that makes you think that you're going to win a box of AI-created Twinkies?
You're either blowing, rubbing, or tugging. Here we go. If you thought the shape-shifting T-1000 robot in Terminator 2 Judgment Day was the stuff of nightmares, your nightmares may eventually become reality, it says here, Dave. I didn't make that up. I read it straight off the damn copy. Researchers have created a Terminator-like liquid metal that has the ability to stretch horizontally and vertically, as well as changing shapes. Oh, great, according to a new study. The research published in Applied Materials and Interfaces, which I don't get on my doorstep at 5:30 every morning, highlights how liquid metals such as gallium, I'm not making that name up either, when mixed with nickel or iron, are actually able to be manipulated into different shapes with the use of magnets. Magnets are not our friends, Dave. God, I'm getting all upset.
I see you're so emotional. You're losing your voice.
Moreover,
like a prepubescent boy.
I'm just going nuts here. Moreover, the vertically stretched MLMD magnetic liquid metal droplet can move horizontally with its half body in the solution and the other half in the air, which resembles the nature of an upright walking amphibian. Dave. The researchers
So you're saying the future of Terminators are going to look like giant frogs?
Wouldn't you like that?
Hello, everybody. Bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
Do you remember? Yay! Do you remember the letters we were getting a couple years ago on Parashare about those frog-like creatures that were showing up in people's bedrooms?
Yeah,
Terminators, froginators, Dave. And I'm not talking about the goddamn burgers you get at Wendy's, Dave. Froginators.
Wow.
Froginators.
You're an angry man.
I'm just saying. This is not the first time that researchers have created a bendable metal. In previous attempts, certain metals that are liquid at room temperature, including the aforementioned gallium and other alloys, were only able to be stretched horizontally thanks to high surface tensions. They also needed to be immersed in water to avoid forming a paste. Oh, a pasty Terminator would be a bad one, Dave. Let me tell you that. But the researchers, including the study's lead author, Lang Hu, I don't know if you know Lang Hu, but he's evil, Dave.
Who?
Lang Hu.
Who?
That's what I'm saying. Lang Hu.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who?
Lang Hu, Dave, added the iron and nickel, that evil bastard, as well as tin alloy immersed in hydrochloric acid to the solution, which lowered the surface tension. From there, they were able to stretch the droplet to almost 4 times its resting length, as well as manipulate it using magnets. The researchers also said the liquid metal showed conductivity, and with the connection of 2 electrodes, it could light up an LED bulb, so it could create those evil eyes, Dave. While a shape-shifting robot such as the T-1000 isn't likely to happen anytime soon, oh, don't say that, the researchers highlighted the potential for future applications, including robots. MLMD presents a fundamental and promising platform for the liquid metals to further develop the multi-freedom actuation in free space and eventually lead to the dynamically reconfigurable, intelligent, and biomimetic soft robots in the future, the researchers wrote. And from there, we'll just crush your skull.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
I don't like it at all. Is that the end of your bit?
That's the end of my bit. I just want Twinkies now. I just want Twinkies.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You're not going to get them.
Pay up.
Keep trying.
Pay up.
Keep trying.
Pay up.
Uh-oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I say, Tim.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Tim. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
A teenager has been diagnosed with schizophrenia, but it turned out to be an infection from his cat, Tim. Yeah, you heard that right, Tim. We all love our fur babies, but sadly, our pets can be the cause of some seriously scary illnesses, Tim. The most recent proof, a 14-year-old Midwestern boy has developed suicidal and homicidal thoughts after being scratched by his cat, according to a recent case report published in the Journal of Central Nervous System Disease. Mm-hmm. The teen was hospitalized numerous times between October 2015 and October 2017, during which time at least 2 psychiatrists diagnosed him with schizophrenia, Tim. Mm-hmm. Although he had been healthy before, he developed psychiatric symptoms, including feeling overwhelmed, confused, depressed, and agitated, according to the case report, and said he was he was an evil, damned son of the devil.
Yeah.
That's what this cat scratch made him feel like, Tim.
Yep.
He was discharged after a week in the hospital in October after he was deemed healthy, but he was hospitalized again for a week in December after he began hallucinating and refusing to leave his house. In January of 2016, more symptoms arose, including excessive fatigue, chest pain, and shortness of breath. He was hospitalized again in the summer of 2016, and this time for 11 weeks, where he underwent extensive testing, according to the report, and was once again thought to be experiencing schizophrenia. When he came home from his extensive hospital stay, his parents noticed what looked like stretch marks around his armpit and thigh. Although he was still sick, his parents kept him at home and refused another round of hospitalization. Then, in January 2017, a physician recognized the stretch mark-esque cuts as skin lesions linked to scratches from a cat. Finally, doctors proposed neurobartonellosis, or neurological symptoms of Bartonellosis, an infection with Bartonella bacteria that's commonly called cat scratch fever. I said it's cat scratch fever, Tim. He has some cat scratch fever, Tim. Fortunately, the teen in the case report made a full recovery after he was given antibiotics, but the case is a scary reminder of the risks of living with your furry friends. Bartonella bacteria can be passed to humans from the scratch of a domestic or feral cat who is infested with infected fleas, according to the CDC. Yeah, you know me. You down with CDC, Tim?
Yeah, you know me.
All the symptoms of cat scratch disease usually include a mild fever and tender lymph nodes. Neurological complications can occur in some patients, which is why doctors thought the teen in the case report had schizophrenia. So, how much should you really worry if you have a cat? It's more common than you'd think for your feline friends to be exposed to the bacteria, according to the National Organization of Rare Disorders, or as we like to call it, NORD. Mm-hmm. I prefer to call it NARD, but almost half, check this out, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Almost half of domestic cats have antibodies to the strain of Bartonella that causes cat scratch fever. Wow, wow. And while human infection can happen, it's rare for a cat scratch disease to turn serious. The CDC estimates that around 12,000 people who see a doctor leave with a diagnosis of cat scratch disease every year. You know what, Tim? That's about 11,999 more than should.
Yep.
500 people have been hospitalized for having the infection. You can help prevent cat scratch fever by keeping your cat flea-free, keeping her up-to-date on vaccines, and limiting her outdoor time, according to the NORD.
I thought you were going to say by not buying Ted Nugent albums.
Well, there's that, too. All right. Where are we off to next?
Well, Dave, a former Polish president pontificates about a possible alien invasion. The former president of Poland surprised his audience at a recent speaking engagement when he began pontificating about UFOs and how an alien invasion might unfold. Lech Walesa, who presided over the country from 1990 to 1995, reportedly made the remarks while addressing a civic group in the town of Krosno, much to the astonishment of those in attendance. A retired politician indicated that he has become a believer in the idea that intelligent extraterrestrials not only exist, but could pose a threat to the safety of the Earth. Specifically, Walesa said that there are 3 levels of intellectual development in other galaxies, and sadly, the human species occupies the lowest tier. Well, thanks, Lech. We appreciate that. As such, he cautioned that a visit from these advanced beings could be perilous for our planet. Should we try and challenge the ETs, Walesa observed that they will interrupt us and cut us in half. Woo.
Wow.
The Earth
this guy is definitely a glass half empty.
He is, yeah. The Earth will collapse, he went on to say. He postulated that such an invasion scenario could set the human race back 5,000 years and necessitate the need for civilization to rebuild from scratch until the same moment in which we are today. Walesa went on to assert that similar situations may have already taken place on Earth, declaring that they say there was a civilization like ours 5 or 4 times. I don't know why 5 or 4. And it came to the same mistake as we are now. They could not communicate. He pointed to various archaeological mysteries as examples of a potential advanced human race that was wiped out in the distant past. Various things are excavated in stone, the pyramids even, he marveled. We do not know where they came from. Well, one might be wondering if Walesa learned this fantastic information by way of his prominent position in Poland decades ago. It would seem that his insights on these subjects were attained in a considerably less clandestine manner. The former president indicated that his knowledge about aliens and the UFO phenomenon is actually derived from watching YouTube videos on the subject. That's a good place to get it.
Jesus. That's like I've gotten all of my medical training from watching YouTube videos.
I got it all from watching ER. That may come as a disappointment to those hoping that Walesa was read in on the ET secret. Perhaps it's a good thing, since it might mean that his fears of an alien invasion are on par with the flat Earth theory. There you go.
Foo Fighters over Washington. Investigators said that roughly 150 to 200 UFO sightings have been reported annually in the Evergreen State. In 1944 and 45, 2 years before Roswell, New Mexico became world famous, several unexplained objects were reported in the airspace over the Hanford nuclear site in eastern Washington. On at least one occasion, propeller-driven aircraft scrambled to intercept the objects from the nearby Paco Naval Air Base. But as they neared 35,000 feet, they reported to the ground that they still had not reached the object, but could climb no further without burning out their engines. Their commander told them, burn them up. So they climbed up to nearly 47,000 feet, said UFO investigator Dan Nims. They said they were seeing a large metallic oval object, pink in hue, about the size of 3 aircraft carriers. Dozens of people packed into a small conference room at the Pullman's Quality Inn on Friday evening last week to discuss these stories and other stories. Misconceptions and cover-ups related to UFO sightings led by NIMS, who is the Mutual UFO Network chief Washington investigator. The state has become a rich resource for UFO hunters. NIMS said, noting other historic accounts describe flying saucers over Mount Rainier and a giant donut-shaped object. Donuts. Over molten lava over Maury Island. We have quite a history associated with UFOs in the state of Washington, Nims remarked. A retired U.S. Air Force fighter pilot and test pilot, the former director of the F-22 test program and one-time director of test resources for the entire U.S. Air Force, Nims' credentials, well, they speak for themselves. MUFON, Nims said, is one of the oldest and largest UFO organizations in the world, boasting 6,000 members internationally, including around 800 volunteer investigators. A lot of the times, UFO sightings are lights in the sky, certainly exciting enough, but not really threatening, Nims said. Occasionally, there are folks who end up in a situation where they have contact or even abductions, and our experiential research team is trained in working with those people. Nims said that for the past 5 years, Washington ranks 9th nationally in number of UFO sightings, reporting between 150 and 200 annually. Of these sightings, Nims said typically half of them are labeled MUFON investigators as unknowns, meaning that they were unable to identify a more conventional cause. Washington residents reported 94 unknown cases last year alone. While Nims estimates there are hundreds of thousands of UFO sightings reported every year, he said about 19 in 20 go unreported. However, he said there is no shortage of sightings in the state of Washington. Several of those in attendance appeared to have their own stories of near-close encounters or eerie, inexplicable lights in the sky. One man in the crowd alleged he saw an object just 300 feet overhead. Nims said while some UFO hotspots are thought to exist in the northern and western edges of the state, eastern Washingtonians don't have to travel to the coast or the border to possibly catch sight of extraterrestrial visitors. As recently as last year, Nims said a sighting was reported over the Roosevelt Reservoir north of Spokane. I just did a Clarkston case in December of a UFO daytime flyby in the afternoon over the Walmart parking lot, Nims said. You don't have to go to a magic hill somewhere to look at these things. Even Walmart, Tim. Aliens of Walmart. Let's buy that website right now.
Oh, we should, yeah.
Yeah, Aliens of Walmart.
Aliens of Walmart.
Crazy. Hey, we want to hear your stories. This is another call that came into our Voices from Beyond voicemail. It's 651-300-4977. 651-300-4977. We would love for you to share your story just like this caller.
Hey Dave, it's Grace here, and I want to share with you a paranormal experience and encounter that happened to me about 9 years ago. It took place at the Iron Island Museum in Buffalo, New York. It was our Remembrance Day in Canada, your Veterans Day in the States. My friend Jay and Karen and I decided to go to do just to go check it out because they had a cool experience a few weeks prior. I went, and they said it was a very profound experience, so they wanted to go back again, and I wanted to join them. Now, like I said, it was just Veterans and Remembrance Day, and this place is a tribute to the locals of the Buffalo area who have, were servicemen, and not servicemen, but rather, soldiers from First World War, Second World War, and Vietnam War. And it's just basically a museum to just to show the gratitude for their service that they did. So they created this beautiful kind of memorial museum on that. Now, this place used to be a funeral home prior to it turning into a museum. So it was a Friday night. It was cold because it was November, and it was the investigation and being myself, Karen, my friend Jay, and another lady who is a host of a radio station in Buffalo. So it was just the 5 of us, which was perfect. And the owner of the museum decided to, shut off the lights and shut off the heat so we could have kind of like a pure location or like setting, so we would not get any contaminants when we are recording and we're trying to get evidence. So we were sitting in our jackets. It was cold. It was dark. And the first room that we went to, nothing too much happened. We didn't get any evidence, not a lot of stuff. Some maybe bleeps here and there on the millimeter, but nothing else than that. Now we decided to get up and move to the chapel area. In the chapel area and behind it, there was like a little office. The office was being renovated. Well, upstairs was being fixed. We're doing new installation. So my friend decided to pop his head up just in case, he knew nobody would be up there, but he just wanted to make sure. He's the largest skeptic of all of us in the group. And we kind of sat, so we checked, nothing there. So we decided to go back into more of the chapel area. 3 people were sitting on the couch. My friend Jay and I decided to sit on the ground. And, there was no spots on the couch, but it's okay. So we sat there on the ground. We had the EMF and we had a recorder going on at the same time. As we were talking, we heard so loud, so clear. And we had, actually, I should also mention that we had 2 flashlights kind of beaming up. So that was our only source of light. So we had 2 flashlights on the ground with the equipment. And we were just having a conversation again. And we heard so loud and so clear thumping. Something ran above us. Something went from basically where the little office was, right across from the chapel, right across down to the end of the building. And it was so loud and it was so forceful that we actually saw dust falling from the ceiling. We could actually see the dust particles and the drywall dust falling from the ceiling over the flashlight, because you could see it like this cloud and this plume of like dust on the flashlight. And it was so terrifying because there was nobody there. Nobody, just the 5 of us. My friend even went up to check, and it's one of those old, it's like an A-frame typical old building. So it's more of like a crawl space. In some areas you probably can, you have to duck down, but it's not where you can run across. Like I said, they're fixing insulation, so floors were not fixed. It was just the most intense and terrifying experience. Like I said, we felt like strict fear, like because this place has this feeling of not dread, but just this overwhelming feeling of just stillness, just like the energy there. Just, it's hard to explain. It's just like this like stagnant energy, and the basement is more intense. So I hope you found those stories interesting, because I said that experience will forever stick with me as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, bye.
All right, Tim, where are we off to next?
Somewhere near the Amazon, Dave, in Quinez. Astonishment and mystery. They believe they have seen a gorilla in Quinez, and the environmental police are looking for it. A mystery captivates Quinez. The environmental police are looking for a supposed gorilla in the area of the Banda Este, a rather rural place full of farms. We do not know what it is, but we found traces similar to those of that animal, said the person in charge of the operation. The commissar and head of the Environmental Police Unit Number 5, Marcelo Diaz. The police commented that the first appearance came on Sunday night near 22 in a small dairy farm. A man bathed his son and went out to the patio to urinate when, in the distance, you heard that right, he observed a figure of 1.80 meters of black color that jumped 2 wire fences without touching them, with an athletic capacity worthy of an Olympiad. In the evening of Monday, something similar happened. Witnesses claimed to have seen him 200 meters away on a farm. He described it as a black figure that went toward the mountain in a calm way. He walked and stopped at times. He said about the rare stride of the figure. Diaz explained that they found tracks in a smooth area and others in the bush. They are similar to those of a human foot, but we discard that they are of a person by the great size, intrigued the policeman in charge of the operation. around this Monday, 22 this Monday. 10 officers and 5 Baquianos, I believe, looked for the mysterious figure in a mountain area. One of the guys who saw him for the first time heard a noise behind them. When they all went to investigate, they found the tracks. Someone followed them silently. Diaz argued that nobody in the town knows anything, none said to have captive an animal of that nature. They also rule out that they have arrived with a circus because they do not grant permits to transport gorillas, and if anyone did, it was illegal. The representatives of the security force investigated that gorillas exist in the Amazon forest, but it is impossible to cross to the side of the country, and in addition, supposes that the mammal made the whole trip to San Luis without being seen. The incredulity, oh, Dave, that's a hard word, incredulity, sure, will continue until the 21st of this Tuesday, or until the 21 of this Tuesday, as they say in this article, when the new round begins to look for the Kineti. That's a new one, the Kineti, Dave. That's kind of exotic sounding. Diaz, 5 policemen, and 3 Baquianos will go after the animal steps to the Banda Este, a suburban area that is about 3 kilometers from the center of Quines. The commissioner explained that the search is done at night because, according to the people who saw it and the investigation, the supposed gorilla appeared and moves in the dark, and he specified that they will use a night viewer that allows, in addition to watching at night from a distance, some filming as well. Experts consider the appearance of a primate of that nature to be unfeasible. There's not much information about the physical aspect. Some say that they have a tail. They traced us, but they do not look like those of a gorilla or chimpanzee, commented a member of the area of flora and fauna of the Ministry of the Environment, Nicholas Bistolfi. It is unlikely that it is a gorilla, perhaps because of the characteristics. It can be a monkey. They call it Chiara North. It is not the most common that may occur, but it may be a Latin monkey that appeared. But those animals are less than 1 meter tall, he explained. About the difference with the sighting, that it was described as 1.80 meters. Those in charge of monitoring the provincial fauna and flora consider that if it is a monkey, it should be illegal in the province since its possession as a pet is prohibited. So there you go.
All right, as we're wrapping up, I've got 2 more stories here. You've got a story. You know what? You remember we've talked about the dog suicide bridge?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. There may be an answer, finally, to what's been taking place. For decades, this has stupefied locals. One minute they're out enjoying a walk. The next, these dogs are hurling themselves off a 50-foot bridge.
Wow.
Plunging to their deaths on jagged rocks in the gorge below. Now, a pastor claims to have solved the mystery as to why hundreds of dogs have reportedly committed suicide by jumping off a rural bridge. It's the scent of small mammals. Since the 1950s, Overton Bridge in Dumbarton, Scotland, has played host to a bizarre trend of canines leaping off it. Befuddled and grieving residents of the town, which is northwest of Glasgow, have blamed everything from witchcraft to paranormal activity. However, they remain united in their insistence that the historic stone structure is now known as the Dog Suicide Bridge. There is even a sign telling walkers to keep dogs on their lead. Yet decades after the first recorded dog death, a Texan pastor living in a nearby manor believes he has an answer to expunge such supernatural theories. The dogs are catching the scent of mink, pine martens, or some other mammal, and then will jump off the wall of the bridge, Bob Hill told the New York Times. And because it tapered, they will just topple over. The pastor, who runs a local center for women in crisis, moved into the nearby Overton house with his wife almost 20 years ago and said that he had seen several dogs suddenly dive off that bridge. Despite Scotland being the kind of place where there's a lot of supernatural, it's the smell of small mammals scurrying in the gorge which sends dogs into a frenzy and leads them to break off their leash. However, Paul Owens, a religion and philosophy teacher, disagrees with the theory. Mr. Owens has researched the dog deaths now for 11 years and has even written a book about the mystery. The Baron of Rainbow Bridge, Overton's death-leaping dog mystery unraveled. He told the newspaper that a ghost is behind all of this. He even went on as far to identify it as the White Lady of Overton, the often cited ghost of a local woman who died in 1908 and never got over the death of her husband. In his book, he also argued against the findings of David Sands, an animal behaviorist, who said that it was dogs' limited perspective as well as a possible scent theory that lured dogs to jump. Yet even he admitted that the bridge has a strange feeling. A spokeswoman for Police Scotland said that the force had not received any calls regarding suicidal dogs. However, she added that she had heard of a rumor anecdotally. Interesting stuff. All right. Tim's final story right now on Supernatural News.
Now, Dave, I didn't get some emails or any emails regarding the whole Louisville versus Louisville deal, but I do have to say that I was vindicated a little bit by a Minnesota broadcaster who kept calling it Louisville this past week. So I just want to.
Well, just because one other moron can't say it right, Tim, doesn't mean that you're vindicated.
Wow.
Oh, damn!
Wow. But we go to Louisville, Kentucky, where a Kentucky man claims an employer punished him for refusing to undergo an exorcism. A Kentucky man claims his employer, the manager of a Hampton Inn in Hazard, punished him for not submitting to an exorcism and failing to fill out a form asking questions about his religious beliefs and sexual habits. Well, everybody has to do that, don't they? Kidding. In a religious discrimination lawsuit, Leslie County resident Jason Fields claims he was harassed shortly after being hired as a front desk employee in June of 2016 when his manager, Sharon Linden, found out he was getting divorced. Linden, according to the suit filed on March 21st in Perry Circuit Court, told Fields she was a member of Common Bond Christian Fellowship Ministries in Hazard, and that the reason for his marital problems was that he had demons. The suit, which names Linden and Hampton Inn as defendants, alleges Fields was told that if he was going to work for Linden, he had to be cleansed. Fields told him she had been cleansed 3 or 4 times, and it was similar to an exorcism. In addition, Fields was given a form to fill out with questions about his religious background, if he had lustful thoughts, don't we all, whether he was conceived out of wedlock or had been sexually abused, and if he had ever made a pact with the devil, among other questions. When Fields refused to provide the form or undergo an exorcism, his shift and job duties were changed. He was not allowed to take days off, did not receive a raise, and was threatened with termination, this according to the suit. Linden made it clear to Fields that absent his adherence to her religious beliefs, specifically completing the packet of questions and consenting to a cleansing, he would not be allowed to work at the Hampton Inn. According to the lawsuit filed by attorney Cheryl Lewis, Lewis did not immediately return a phone message, and at least 3 times, the suit claims, Linden brought parishioners from her church to the hotel lobby to pray for Fields while he was working. Well, that could be a distraction. While Fields did not participate, he was embarrassed and claims other employees overheard hotel guests talking about the incidents. Fields eventually quit because of continuing harassment and discrimination, according to the suit. An employee at the Hampton Inn referred questions about the lawsuit to Linden, who was not working when they tried to contact her. She did not immediately return a phone message seeking comment. Linden also could not be reached at her church. In a statement, Hampton Inn said they oppose discrimination and will investigate, according to the Associated Press. The suit is seeking a jury trial and unspecified monetary damages. There you go.
All right, Tim, and in our final story, I have some good news for you, my friend.
Oh, good.
You can finally update that living room furniture. Get rid of the tire swing, get rid of the 3 beanbag chairs and the rusty folding chair. Oh. You can keep the card table because that lends kind of a hoity-toity look to your room. But I found a whole brand new living room set for you, Tim.
Oh, good.
An Oshikati couple yesterday dumped their black household goods, including leather sofas, a bureau, chairs, and more. Why, you may ask? Well, because they're demonic. Among the items the couple dumped were sofas, a kitchen cupboard, a flat-screen TV set, cooking utensils, and bedroom sheets, as well as 2 plastic chairs. The husband, 39, is a senior official at the finance ministry in Oshkosh, while his wife, 28, is unemployed. Although the Namibian knows the couple's identity, the police asked that they should not be named. The couple also said the items, especially the sofas, have the number 666, which he believes is a demonic sign. All black items in our house are demonic. That's what the man told the Namibian in the Ongwanda diving site yesterday. Or dumping site, not diving. Of course, you could go dumpster diving, I guess, at the site.
Sure.
The police stopped the couple from burning the items. The husband said he bought the couches for 17,000 Namibian dollars. The TV set for 6,000 of those same Namibian dollars, Tim. And the cupboard for 3,000 Namibian dollars, while the bedding sheet was worth 200 Namibian dollars, Tim. The couple broke the TV screen. It does not help to cleanse ourselves and pass on the demons to other people, he stated. The wife said every time she slept on the sofas, she saw evil things. She added that they are yet to remove the stove and one more kitchen cupboard from their home, both of which are black. The couple said that the Namibian, that they gave their lives to Jesus in 2010 and had been attending sermons at the AFM Rock of Salvation Church at the Oshkosh East. This month, the man explained they joined another church where they attend sermons at the Okadaji Village. He said the Apostolic Faith Mission Church did not tell them his black items in the house were possessed. God revealed it to me in a dream that I should throw them away. This has nothing to do with my pastor. The couches also have signs of 666, which the word says a demonic sign, he added. The man said the reporter could not see the number 666 because she had not been delivered. However, 6666666 was engraved on a wooden panel of the sofas. The man advised the reporter to change her lifestyle and not wear pants or any black clothes because God does not allow it. Why did you change yourself? You should cut that bushy hair and cut off your natural hair if you are unable to maintain it instead of changing yourself, he said. Oshana Regional Police head Adali Kapadwa said that they were keeping the items in case the couple changed their mind. She said that the Olagon Town Council informed the police after a security guard on the duty at the dumping site on Sunday night informed the police that items in good condition had been dumped at the site. Kasha warned members of the public against falling prey to fake churches and getting rid of their valuable goods, which cost them money. The police will not stop people from going to church and seeking the word of God, but they should know that this time property, before you know it, will be that they should know that this time it is property. Before you know it, it will be people that will be getting rid of and claiming they have demons, she warned. The couple was escorted home by the police, and it was explained to them that the items would be kept safe in case they changed their minds about dumping them. Demonic furniture, Tim.
Yeah.
Lined up. It's coming to you. I had it ordered.
Oh,
special
for
you. Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
I like the tire swing. It's a bold choice in your living room, Tim, but you know, and the beanbag chairs kind of smell like hatred, Tim, so it's time to get rid of them.
Well, I'm partial to those.
Well, time to get rid of them, Tim. You've had them since you were 8.
Well, they're comfy.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in to Supernatural News and Parashare. We'll be back tomorrow. Footnotes, experiences with Sasquatch, Susan Barron, our guest right here on Beyond the Darkness.